Do you wake up feeling sluggish, your energy levels not quite what they used to be, and find that your mornings, and maybe even your nights, aren't delivering the vibrancy and passion you once knew? It's a quiet frustration many men over 60 experience, a fading spark that affects not just how they feel day to day, but also their confidence and intimacy. Often, we simply blame age, chalking it up to an inevitable decline. But what if it's not just age? What if there's a hidden culprit lurking in plain sight, right there on your breakfast plate? That's unknowingly sabotaging your vitality, your energy, and yes, even your ability to maintain strong, lasting erections. For years, we've been told that fruit is the epitome of health, especially first thing in the morning. And in many ways, that's true. Fruits are packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber. But for men over 60, especially when it comes to specific types or ways of consuming them for breakfast, some of these seemingly innocent choices can actually be doing more harm than good, creating a cascade of internal issues that subtly erode your vigor and impact your sexual health. It's a painful reality that many men face without ever connecting it to their diet. In this video, we're going to uncover 10 seemingly healthy fruits that, when eaten for breakfast, could be unknowingly sabotaging your vitality, draining your energy, and unfortunately, even killing your erections. We'll explore why these fruits, despite their healthy reputation, might be working against your body's natural desire for peak performance and how they can quietly contribute to issues like inflammation, blood sugar imbalances, and hormonal disruptions that directly affect your ability to perform. This isn't about cutting out all fruit, but about making smarter choices to reclaim your mornings and your masculinity. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you. A common fruit you might be enjoying right now that could be doing more harm than good. Let's dive right in with the first fruit on our list, a breakfast staple for many. Often hailed for its convenience and energy-boosting properties, the humble banana. Specifically, when it's overly ripe. Now, a banana in itself isn't bad, but as bananas ripen, their complex carbohydrates convert more and more into simple sugars. That lovely brown-spotted banana, while deliciously sweet, delivers a rapid sugar rush to your bloodstream first thing in the morning. For men over 60 who are often already dealing with some degree of insulin resistance or are at higher risk for type 2 diabetes, this morning sugar spike can be particularly detrimental. When your blood sugar surges, your body responds by releasing a flood of insulin to bring it back down. This constant roller coaster of sugar highs and crashes stresses your pancreas and can lead to chronic inflammation. And here's why that's a problem for your erections. Chronic inflammation damages blood vessels, including those tiny, delicate ones essential for blood flow to the penis. Good blood flow is the bedrock of strong erections. If your vessels are constantly battling inflammation, they lose their elasticity and ability to dilate, making it harder for blood to rush in and get trapped. Furthermore, these sugar spikes and insulin resistance can interfere with nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is a critical molecule that helps relax and widen blood vessels, a crucial step in achieving an erection. Less nitric oxide means less ability to achieve that vital blood flow. So, if you're reaching for an overly ripe banana every morning, you might be setting yourself up for a day of sugar instability and contributing to systemic inflammation that quietly erodes your vascular health. Instead, if you enjoy bananas, consider choosing a slightly greener one or pairing it with some healthy fats or protein, like a handful of nuts or a scoop of Greek yogurt, to slow down that sugar absorption. This simple swap can make a big difference in stabilizing your blood sugar and protecting your blood vessels from the start of your day. Next up on our list are two seemingly innocent and highly popular berries that often grace our breakfast bowls: conventional strawberries and grapes. Now, let me be clear. Berries are generally fantastic, packed with antioxidants. But the issue here lies with how conventionally grown strawberries and grapes are often treated. They are consistently on the dirty dozen list, meaning they are among the fruits with the highest pesticide residues. Pesticides aren't just external contaminants. They are absorbed into the fruit itself. For men over 60, chronic exposure to these chemicals can act as endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors are substances that interfere with your body's hormone system, mimicking or blocking hormones. which can throw your delicate hormonal balance out of whack. When it comes to erections, hormones, particularly testosterone, play a crucial role. While erections are primarily a vascular event, testosterone influences libido, energy levels, and overall vitality, all of which contribute to sexual function. Endocrine disruption can lead to lower testosterone levels, increased estrogen, and impaired thyroid function, creating a hormonal environment that is less conducive to strong erections and sexual desire. Moreover, some pesticides are known neurotoxins, impacting nerve function, which is also essential for erectile response. Consuming these pesticide-laden fruits daily for breakfast means a continuous trickle of these chemicals into your system, gradually chipping away at your hormonal health and contributing to a low-grade inflammatory state that silently damages your body's intricate systems. The solution here isn't to avoid all strawberries and grapes, but to opt for organic varieties whenever possible. If organic isn't an option, consider thorough washing with a fruit and vegetable wash. Though this won't eliminate all absorbed pesticides, prioritizing organic versions of these particular fruits is a small investment that can yield significant long-term benefits for your hormonal health and overall well-being, helping to keep that vital spark alive. This brings us to a surprisingly potent sugar bomb, often mistaken for a healthy snack. Moving on, let's talk about dried fruits, specifically raisins, dates, and dried cranberries. These are often seen as healthy, convenient additions to breakfast cereals, oatmeal, or even eaten on their own, while they contain fiber and some nutrients. The critical problem is their incredibly concentrated sugar content. When fruit is dried, its water content is removed, leaving behind a compact, dense package of natural sugars. A small handful of raisins, for example, can contain as much sugar as a full-size chocolate bar. And dates are notoriously sweet. Consuming these high-sugar, low-volume foods for breakfast delivers an immediate and intense sugar spike to your system, far more significant than eating the fresh equivalent. This rapid sugar surge, especially first thing in the morning when your body is naturally more sensitive to insulin, can wreak havoc on your blood sugar regulation. As we discussed earlier, repeated sugar spikes lead to insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and damage to your blood vessels. This damage directly impedes the optimal blood flow necessary for erections. Think of your arteries as flexible pipes. Chronic inflammation makes them stiff and narrow, reducing the ability for blood to flow freely. Beyond vascular health, the constant battle against high blood sugar levels can exhaust your adrenal glands and pancreas, leading to overall fatigue and a diminished sense of well-being, which certainly doesn't contribute to sexual desire or performance. Furthermore, some dried cranberries are often sweetened even further with added sugars, compounding the problem. If you enjoy dried fruits, reserve them for an occasional treat or in very small quantities, always paired with fats and proteins to blunt the sugar impact. A handful of fresh berries or a small apple would be a far better breakfast choice than a bowl of dried fruit. Our fourth fruit to approach with caution, especially for men over 60, is grapefruit. Not because of its sugar content, which is relatively low, but because of its powerful interaction with certain medications. Grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins that can interfere with an enzyme in your liver responsible for breaking down various drugs. This interaction means that if you consume grapefruit, it can dramatically increase the absorption of certain medications, leading to much higher levels in your bloodstream than intended. This can turn a therapeutic dose into a potentially toxic one. For men over 60, this is particularly relevant because many are on medications for high cholesterol, like statins, or for erectile dysfunction, like sildenafil or tadalafil. If you take statins and consume grapefruit, the levels of the statin in your body can become dangerously high, increasing the risk of severe side effects like muscle pain, liver damage, or even kidney failure. Similarly, if you take ED medications and drink grapefruit juice, the increased concentration of the drug can lead to side effects like dangerously low blood pressure or prolonged erections, which can be a medical emergency. Even if you're not on these specific medications, the increased burden on your liver from constantly processing these compounds can suddenly impact your overall health and detoxification pathways, which are crucial for maintaining hormonal balance and overall vitality. So, while grapefruit itself is a healthy fruit, if you are on any medications, particularly those that come with a grapefruit warning, it is absolutely vital to avoid it for breakfast or any time of day without consulting your doctor first. It's a case where a healthy food can become genuinely dangerous in the wrong context. Next, let's turn our attention to something you might pick up for convenience: canned fruits in syrup. This might seem like an obvious one to avoid, but it's surprising how many people reach for these, perhaps thinking they're getting a healthy fruit serving without realizing the hidden dangers. The primary issue here is the sheer amount of added sugar. Canned fruits are typically packed in heavy syrup, which is essentially just sugar water. This isn't a small amount either. A single serving can contain more added sugar than a soft drink. For men over 60, this daily dose of highly processed, rapidly absorbed sugar at breakfast time is a recipe for disaster. Beyond the immediate blood sugar spike and its damaging effects on blood vessels and insulin sensitivity, these canned varieties often lack the vibrant nutrient profile of fresh fruit. The canning process, especially with high heat, can degrade some of the more delicate vitamins and antioxidants. What you're left with is a sweet, often bland, shadow of what fruit should be, primarily acting as a vehicle for unhealthy amounts of refined sugar. Chronic consumption of added sugars contributes to systemic inflammation throughout the body. This inflammatory state is a silent killer of health, impacting everything from your heart and brain to, yes, your erectile function. Inflammation damages the endothelial cells that line your blood vessels, making them stiff and less responsive, directly impairing the ability of blood to flow freely into the penis when needed. So, if you're looking for a quick fruit option, bypass the canned aisle entirely. Fresh or frozen fruits are always superior, offering the full spectrum of nutrients and fiber without the detrimental load of added sugars and artificial ingredients that actively work against your body's natural functions. Our sixth breakfast offender is another common morning beverage that many believe is a cornerstone of a healthy start: pasteurized, store-bought orange juice. Now, while whole oranges are a great source of vitamin C and fiber, commercial orange juice is a completely different story. When oranges are juiced and then pasteurized for shelf stability, much of the beneficial fiber is removed, and often, some of the more delicate nutrients are diminished. What remains is essentially a concentrated dose of fruit sugar. Without the fiber to slow its absorption, drinking a glass of store-bought orange juice is akin to consuming several oranges worth of sugar in one go. But without the natural breaking effect of the pulp and membranes, this rapid influx of sugar leads to a significant blood sugar spike, even more so than eating a whole orange. And as we've thoroughly covered, these constant sugar fluctuations contribute to insulin resistance and widespread inflammation. Insulin resistance is a major contributor to metabolic syndrome, which includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and excess belly fat, all known risk factors for erectile dysfunction. Your circulatory system relies on smooth, elastic blood vessels to transport blood efficiently, and persistent high blood sugar levels damage these vessels over time, leading to atherosclerosis, a hardening and narrowing of the arteries. This directly impacts the tiny arteries that supply blood to the penis, making erections more difficult to achieve and maintain. Furthermore, the high acid content in orange juice can also contribute to gut inflammation for some individuals, creating another layer of systemic stress that undermines overall health and vitality. Instead of juice, opt for a whole orange. You get the fiber, the full nutrient profile, and a much slower, more gentle release of sugar into your bloodstream. It's a small change that can make a profound difference in protecting your metabolic health and preserving your sexual function. Now, let's talk about the next fruit that might be subtly undermining your morning vitality. A tropical delight often enjoyed in smoothies or fruit salads: pineapple, especially when consumed in excessive amounts or as processed juice. Pineapple is rich in bromelain, an enzyme with anti-inflammatory properties, and it's a good source of vitamin C. However, its natural sugar content is quite high, particularly in its ripened state. When consumed in large quantities for breakfast, especially on an empty stomach, it can lead to a significant sugar spike, just like the overly ripe banana or orange juice. This rapid influx of sugar forces your body to produce a surge of insulin, contributing to the cycle of insulin resistance and systemic inflammation that plagues so many men over 60. For men, chronic inflammation is a silent enemy of erectile health. It quietly damages the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, making them less elastic and responsive. This means the blood vessels in the penis struggle to dilate properly and fill with blood when needed, directly impairing your ability to achieve and maintain a firm erection. Furthermore, For some individuals, the acidity and enzyme content of pineapple can cause digestive upset or irritation, leading to a low-grade inflammatory response in the gut. A healthy gut is increasingly recognized as crucial for overall well-being, including hormone balance and mood, both of which indirectly influence sexual health. If your gut is constantly inflamed or irritated, it diverts vital energy and resources away from other bodily functions, potentially impacting everything from your energy levels to your libido. If you enjoy pineapple, it's best consumed in moderation, perhaps as a small portion alongside a protein and healthy fat source to temper the sugar absorption, rather than as a large standalone breakfast item. And always opt for fresh pineapple over canned or juiced versions, which are often loaded with added sugars. Our eighth fruit to be mindful of is something you might consider a hydrating hero: watermelon. Now, watermelon is indeed mostly water, and it contains lycopene, a powerful antioxidant, and citrulline, which some studies suggest can help with blood flow and potentially aid erections. So, why is it on this list? The issue isn't with watermelon itself, but with its consumption, particularly in excessive amounts for breakfast or later in the day, despite its high water content. Watermelon also has a high glycemic index, meaning its natural sugars are absorbed quickly, leading to a noticeable blood sugar spike. If you're eating a large bowl of watermelon on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, you are essentially giving your body another quick sugar hit, contributing to that same cycle of insulin resistance and vascular stress we've been discussing. While a small portion of watermelon in moderation is fine, consuming it excessively, especially as your primary breakfast, can become problematic. For men over 60 who may have slower metabolism or be pre-diabetic, these repeated sugar surges from seemingly healthy fruits can push them further down the path of metabolic dysfunction, directly impacting the health of their blood vessels. And it's the health of these blood vessels that is paramount for strong, sustained erections. Beyond the blood sugar aspect, consuming very large quantities of watermelon can also lead to increased urination due to its high water content. While staying hydrated is good, frequent trips to the bathroom, especially if they interrupt your sleep throughout the night, can lead to chronic fatigue and sleep deprivation. Poor sleep is a significant contributor to lower testosterone levels and overall reduced vitality, both of which are detrimental to sexual function and desire. So, enjoy watermelon as a refreshing snack, but perhaps not as a huge breakfast staple, and consider eating it earlier in the day if you find it leads to nighttime awakenings. Moderation and timing are key here to harness its benefits without its potential downsides. Next, we need to talk about certain hybrid or conventional modern fruit varieties that have been bred for sweetness and yield, sometimes at the expense of nutrient density or with environmental implications. Think about those perfectly uniform, often seedless grapes, or some of the exceptionally sweet, conventional apple varieties found in most supermarkets. While they might be convenient and appealing to the palate, the way many of these fruits are cultivated can introduce issues that subtly impact your health over time. Many commercially grown varieties are heavily reliant on pesticides and herbicides to achieve their pristine appearance and high yields. As we discussed with strawberries, these chemicals can act as endocrine disruptors, messing with your body's delicate hormonal balance. For men over 60, where hormonal shifts like declining testosterone are already a factor, adding endocrine disruptors to the mix can further exacerbate these imbalances, negatively impacting libido, energy levels, and overall sexual vitality. Beyond the chemical load, some of these modern hybrids, while incredibly sweet, may have a different nutritional profile compared to their heritage counterparts. They might contain higher sugar content relative to their fiber and micronutrient density. This means you're getting more of that rapid sugar absorption without the full buffering effect of robust fiber and a complete array of beneficial plant compounds found in more traditional, less manipulated varieties. Consuming these types of fruits regularly for breakfast means a consistent exposure to potential chemical residues and a higher glycemic load, both of which chip away at your vascular health and metabolic stability. The actionable advice here is to diversify your fruit choices and, whenever possible, seek out organic or locally grown varieties, especially for fruits where you eat the skin. Like apples and grapes, consider exploring heirloom varieties or those sold at farmers markets. which often retain more of their natural goodness and are less likely to be swimming in chemical residues. Investing in fruits that haven't been overly manipulated for convenience or appearance can be a profound investment in your long-term health and vitality. Finally, we arrive at our 10th and perhaps most surprising culprit, the fruit smoothie, especially the pre-made, store-bought variety, or even some homemade ones that are overly fruit-heavy. While a well-constructed smoothie can be a nutritional powerhouse, many people fall into the trap of blending too much fruit, often without enough protein or healthy fats to balance the sugar load. A typical large fruit smoothie can contain the sugar equivalent of several servings of fruit, all in a rapidly digestible liquid form. When you blend fruit, you break down much of its fiber, which means the natural sugars are absorbed much more quickly into your bloodstream compared to eating whole, unblended fruit. This leads to a dramatic blood sugar spike, sending your insulin levels soaring. As we've consistently emphasized, this cycle of high blood sugar and high insulin is a direct pathway to insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and damage to the delicate lining of your blood vessels. These vascular issues are the #1 cause of erectile dysfunction for men over 60, directly impairing the blood flow needed for erections. Moreover, many store-bought smoothies are not only packed with excessive fruit sugars, but often also include added sugars, artificial sweeteners, and other questionable ingredients that further contribute to inflammation and metabolic stress. Even homemade smoothies can be problematic if they contain multiple high-sugar fruits like bananas, mangoes, and pineapple without balancing them with ingredients like protein powder, nuts, seeds, or leafy greens. The key here is balance. If you enjoy smoothies, make them at home and focus on using a single serving of low-glycemic fruit, like a handful of berries, and fill the rest with leafy greens, a scoop of protein powder, and healthy fats like avocado or chia seeds. This transforms a potential sugar bomb into a balanced, nutrient-dense meal that supports stable blood sugar, fights inflammation, and fuels your body for optimal performance, ensuring your vitality and helping to keep that spark alive. So, there you have it. 10 fruits and fruit consumption habits that might be subtly undermining your health and, yes, your erections. We've talked about the high sugar content of overly ripe bananas, dried fruits, conventional orange juice, and even excessive pineapple and watermelon, all contributing to blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, and systemic inflammation that damages your vital blood vessels. We've also uncovered the hidden dangers of pesticide residues in conventional strawberries, grapes, and hybrid varieties, which can act as endocrine disruptors, messing with your precious hormonal balance. And let's not forget the medication interactions with grapefruit or the added sugars and nutrient loss in canned fruits and poorly constructed fruit smoothies. Remember, the goal here isn't to demonize fruit entirely. Fruit is a wonderful gift from nature, packed with essential nutrients. But for men over 60, being mindful of which fruits you choose, how much you eat, and how you prepare them, especially for breakfast, can make all the difference. Small changes can make a big difference to your health and happiness. Opt for fresh, organic, or low glycemic fruits when possible. Pair your fruit with protein and healthy fats to slow sugar absorption. And always prioritize whole fruits over juices or processed forms. By making these thoughtful adjustments, you're not just avoiding potential pitfalls, you're actively choosing to support your vascular health, stabilize your hormones, reduce inflammation, and reclaim your energy and vitality. Pamisai. We hope this video has opened your eyes to some common breakfast habits that might be holding you back. Your journey to renewed vigor and confidence starts with informed choices. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you noticed any changes by adjusting your breakfast routine? Share your insights. Your experience could help someone else if you found this information valuable. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content designed to help you live your best life at every age. Take charge of your health. Make wise choices and embrace the power of knowledge. You deserve to live a full, vibrant, and passionate life. No matter your age,